everyone, welcome back. Finally, we have some new gameplay footage for the Division Heartland. Now, this isn't official footage from Redstorm. It's more of kind of a leak, I guess. Now, I can't tell you if this footage comes directly from the most recent closed playtests or before. It was actually only uploaded last week. What I will say is the difference in quality in terms of aesthetics and stuff from this most recent footage compared to the alpha footage in March of last year is substantial. However, there is a time note in this most recent footage on the Battle Pass suggesting this may have come from a closed test in May of last year. So I don't really know what it is. It just seems like a huge upgrade compared to the alpha footage that we saw of March last year. So yeah, I really don't know when it come from. Now, I didn't find this footage. Someone sent me a link to it, so I want to thank you for doing that. But today I wanted to go over this footage and talk about what it shows. Now, some of it, a lot of it, I may have talked about it before in previous videos. Some of it is certainly new. So yeah, let's get straight into this one. Drop a like and subscribe to stay up to date with all my videos. Let's begin. First off, I won't be showing any footage or sharing any links to the footage for obvious reasons. I would certainly get hit with a copyright strike if I were to add any kind of footage in this video, and also I don't want to out the identity of the account responsible for the leak of this footage either, because they were probably under NDA and they certainly shouldn't be sharing it. So yeah, won't be showing any footage in this video. I think all of you knew that anyway. With that said, I guess the first thing I want to say is, whilst this footage is very stuttery, the actual aesthetics of the gameplay compared to the alpha it's night and day, guys. Like it looks like the Division 2 basically. Now, I don't think this was ever going to really be a concern. I know when we saw the alpha footage, it looked pretty bad. It had some real bad performance issues as well, from what I could tell. That's not the case here at all. It looks like the Division 2. It runs like the Division 2, from what I can tell. The AI that's fought in this footage acts almost in the same way as it does for the Division 2. You know, quite aggressive, taking cover well, and looks to be a genuine threat. The AI isn't perfect. There's actually one instance showing an NPC kind of Usain bolting it from one side to another, right past the agent with no kind of disregard for their life. But the actual NPCs, they look pretty tanky. It's worth noting this footage was taken from the Expedition mode, which is the PvE only mode. There's no footage that I've been able to find of the Storm game mode. So if you were ever concerned the aesthetics and the AI wouldn't live up to maybe the Division 2, then I kind of hope this has eased your mind. Now, prior to entering either the Expedition or the Storm mode, you can go into the base of operations, and it appears there will be daily, weekly or monthly events like double experience. In the footage, it's double experience in the Expedition mode. Here it shows you the Armory as well. This is some place you can interact with, which allows you to customize your loadout, access prep items, manage your inventory, and mailbox. I was actually going to make a video recently about what the Division 2 can learn from Destiny 2, having no-lifed Witch Queen. But one thing Destiny 2 can certainly learn from the Division 2 is having customized loadouts. The footage does show you those loadouts, and from what I can tell, I think it's either 6 or 8 slots. I believe it might even be more. It's no less than 5. I know that. There is an area in the base of operations where you can build prep items. These are items that basically help you in either of the two modes, and the footage shows 3 of them: Insertion Point, Intel Scanner, and the Stash Box. I think by their names they're pretty self-explanatory. The one that I really like is the Stash Box, which I believe allows you to stash items and then returns them in a different instance and collect them. So let's say you stash items and then get downed. You obviously come out of that, you go into your next run through. That stash box will still be there for you with those items. I think that's how it works, but don't quote me on that. Also, there are multiple machines that allow you to prep items. I think that's because you're going to be in the base operations with maybe a team, and each member can go and prep their own items separately. Next up on the footage, they access the assignment selection, which allows you to choose what class you're going to be. There's shooter, medic or survivalist. The footage does show them hovering over all 3, but starting with medic, in the footage this reveals a talent called health recovery, which restores health after being in cover, and your health has to be below half. There's one perk highlighted called shared health kit, which I think again is pretty self-explanatory. But there are actually 2 perk slots. The other slot doesn't become available until you are level 30 on the Battle Pass. Below the perks, we have a skill slot with 1 skill highlighted called Health Supply. And then below that, it says Next Reward, which reads Deadly Melee. And that is unlocked at level 12. No idea what this is, but to speculate, I think this might be that if you finish an AI with a melee weapon, you restore health or something like that. Shooter class has Tracking Shot as a talent, which says enemies are marked after damaging them with a sidearm. I presume the marking of those enemies not only allows you to see them, it may allow you to do more damage. I don't know. That's the extent of the description. The perk is Shared Armor Kit, and as I said, the same with the other classes. There are 2 perk slots that you can have. The skill is Grenade Resupply, and the next reward is Covert Armor. Again, that's unlocked at level 12. I'm again assuming this reward, like Deadly Melee, is a talent. Lastly, Survivalist. The talent is Loot Detection, which says crouching highlights nearby unopened loot crates. Perk is Shared Filter Kit. Skill is Filter Resupply, and the next reward is Overstock, which I assume means you can carry more than normal of probably filters or materials. I'm already seeing that the Survivalist is going to be particularly strong in the early game, allowing you to open those unopened crates, which gives you, gear and weapons and all that sort of stuff. I think that will be very strong in the early game. It could almost be considered a rushing class if you wanted to look at it like that. So once you select the modes that you want to go into, in the footage they select expeditions. You then get to select your class or assignment, as it's called, as you wait to enter either of those modes. Here you can also toggle between prep items and your loadouts as well. When they do go to their prep items, there are 3 slots. I don't know if that means that one person can have 3 prep items, or if that means that each member, because there are 3 members per team, each member gets 1 prep item slot. I'm not too sure about that. Afterwards, you then select your insertion zone, and the footage showed the map, which looks, fairly large. I can't say for sure the scale, but it does look fairly large based on the footage where they're running around and stuff and how far they get. So take with that what you will. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It shows the extraction points, it shows other points of interest, and it also shows the roaming contamination zone. Importantly, and this is new, to me at least, I thought that the roaming zone of contamination would be kind of one big roaming zone, but it's not. It's many contamination zones of different sizes spread all across the map, and as I said, it's roaming, so it does move and switch and stuff like that. So you really have to pay attention to your map about where you're going and that sort of thing. If you want to go to this particular area of interest, but there's a contamination zone and it's heading that way, it might not be a good idea to go over there at that time. Once in game, you can access your inventory, which shows your weapons, your gear, your prep items, skills, and also your melee weapon. You can also see your consumables, your ammo, materials, all the sort of stuff you would get in the Division 2. The consumables are made up of filters, med kits, armor kits, I believe, flares, and there is a syringe icon as well, which I'm not totally sure what that is for. In the footage, they highlight the gloves, which brings up some extra information to the right of the inventory. With these gloves, in the footage, it shows they have a 0% dexterity. So this must be one of the attributes available, and I assume the better your gear is, the better stats that you get. And then below that, we have mods, and in the footage they didn't have any equipped, but it does look as though you can equip mods to those items. So the footage itself is only about 10 minutes long, and I would say about half of that is spent actually playing the game, as in the actual world, rather than in inventory or in the base of operations. Now, like the survival game mode from the Division 1, and similar to Battle Royale modes, there is a lot of scavenging, especially to begin with. Unlike survival, at least from this footage, there is no snow, but I hope there are different weather kind of conditions and environments than the sunny Division 2 vibe that it's going for, just because I think it would add a lot to the game mode. I want it to feel more like a survival type game mode rather than kind of like a battle royale. And I think having some extreme weather, like the sandstorms from the Division 2 or the snowstorms and the survival aspect from the Division 1 would really help bring this game more to life. During the playthrough of the footage, a match bonus is unlocked. I'm not sure exactly how that comes about, I'm going to assume it's from maybe getting a certain amount of experience. And this gives you two options. Now, there's multi-kill grants materials and increase ammo capacity. Now, based on the icons for those selections, this footage is from console. And it does look as though it has to be a choice, right? You can't just pick both of them. You have to choose between one or the other. And this is a fairly simple feature, but I think it's actually really impactful. As you can imagine, multi-kill grants materials. Materials are actually really important in this game, because materials will allow you to buy filters, will allow you to buy armor kits, med kits, all of that sort of stuff, and that is paramount to your survival in Heartlands. On the flip side, increasing ammo capacity is also very important. If it becomes a case where you need as much ammo as possible in order to finish off NPCs or finish off areas and stuff, then that ammo could become crucial to your survival. So I actually think it's a simple choice, but actually a really impactful one. And I'm hoping that there's a lot more of these, and I really like this feature. Lastly, the agent is downed in the footage towards the end, which shows them drop some items, and then they go to the battle pass briefly. This doesn't really show you anything that we haven't seen before. It has XP, it has credits. It does look as though it has like 2 locations on the battle pass, level 1 and level 10. I don't really know what these are. Could it be that you unlock different locations that you can then obviously have different maps that you can have in Heartlands? I don't think that's the case. I think Silver Creek is basically the whole location. Maybe it opens up different zones. I don't really know, guys. I'll let you guys speculate in the comments down below. We'll have to see what that's all about. Oh, and also there appears to be a disco arena in the base of operations, and also emotes. And again, I did cover this previously, but in the store, it's pretty similar to the Division 2. You can buy pretty much anything that's kind of vanity related. But that's it, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy this one. Let me know if you did in the comments down below. Drop a like, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications to never miss any of my Heartlands footage or the Division footage in general. And until the next one, epic out.